I don't know what else to say besides this, Spurs fans. That's my Johnson. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. What a crazy roller coaster week this has been. First, the Spurs win Game 1 versus the Blazers. Then Wemby wins the first ever unanimous Defensive Player of the Year, and he's the youngest to do so. In Game 2 versus the Blazers, Wemby gets injured, and then we subsequently lose that game. And then yesterday, R. Johnson wins Sixth Man of the Year. And I am proud to say that R. Johnson is finally getting the recognition he deserves. And without a shadow of a doubt, we have the biggest and best Johnson in the NBA. Now, it hasn't been like that the last 2 seasons. A lot of fans wanted to see Keldon traded, which means we would never see R. Johnson again. Let's take a trip down memory lane. And I don't want you guys to think this is like a told you so type thing, but really looking through the channel's history, I was like, my goodness, I did a lot of trade Keldon Johnson videos. This is from May 28th, 2023. Let me just first off say, man, R. Johnson looks ripped in that picture. A little more hair on top too than normal. Anyways, Spurs coming off a terrible season. And looking through this video, I had forgotten this. The thoughts were trade Keldon for another first round pick. Draft Wemby, and the talk back then was, you guys remember this? Scoot Henderson. That's right. Draft Wemby and Scoot in 2023. That obviously did not happen, but it was interesting revisiting some history. I was like, man, I forgot that was kind of what some of the community wanted. I get it. Trade didn't happen. Let's move forward. And I don't know why, but just a few weeks later on June 9th, I did another video saying, don't trade Keldon. What can I say? I did not want to see our Johnson get traded. It's my team. It's my Johnson. Anyways, fast forward to October 26th of 2023. Season just starting. Wemby's a rookie, and boy, the trade Keldon talks were running rampant left and right. Just a lot of get rid of our Johnson. And I did not want to get rid of our Johnson. So on February 5th, 2024, maybe not the best thumbnail ever, but that's what I went with. This was my last video defending our Johnson. It was just getting really ugly in the comments and the live streams, just how much fans never wanted to see our Johnson again. What many of you may not know is the Sixth Man of the Year Keldon we saw this season. He started showing up post-All-Star break last season. I actually caught that. I remember watching last year, and I was like, man, Keldon's playing playing much better since the All-Star break. Of course, I went to Basketball Reference and looked it up last year, and I'm like, yeah, he's been kind of the Sixth Man of the Year guy last year post-All-Star break. Maybe he didn't fully embrace it like he has now. Maybe he wasn't bringing the energy, but he was bringing the production. Take a look at this, Spurs fans. Last year, post-All-Star break, Keldon, 28 games, 25 minutes, 15 points over 5 boards, and shooting splits of 53, 34, 78. Very similar to his production this year, where he won Sixth Man of the Year. Now, before the All-Star break, he was not playing as well, averaging 11.5 points per game on 45, 30, 77 splits. What can I say? Our Johnson started slow last season, came through strong, and then this year, this is the best Johnson we've probably ever seen. And I like the Johnson. All right, I'm done with... All right, all Johnson jokes aside, let's get serious here. I'm really happy for Keldon. Disappointed in myself for not doing a short on him winning it yesterday. I forgot it was being announced on ESPN, and I was in genuine shock when you guys were tweeting me, TSR, Keldon won. I was like, he did? And it wasn't even close. I would have loved to have done a reaction to that because it would have been a genuine, holy-ish, Keldon won, and I'm so happy for him. And I really am happy for him. Congrats to him. He became the first Sixth Man of the Year since 1994 to play in all 82 games without starting one. Keldon Johnson right now is the longest tenured Spur. He joined the Spurs when I joined the YouTubes as TSR Sports. Keldon was drafted, it was sometime in June, I can't remember. June 2019, 29th overall. Lucas Samanic was the first pick in that draft. 29th overall, and I remember when he was drafted, I'm like, this guy was projected to go higher. This seems like this could be a steal. And it was. The longest tenured Spur through all 6 of these losing seasons, through all the trade Keldon talk the last 2 years, finally on a winning team, and the trade Keldon talk is pretty much non-existent. I am so happy for him. And watch his interview, by the way. His interview, it's like 15 minutes or so long about winning the award, where he talks about some of the struggles with his family, with his grandfather having cancer. He talks about how this is a team award, and, Manu and Pop helped influence him, and just so many other things. And just, it's a feel-good situation to see a player, and he talks about this in the interview too, going from being a rookie to a starter, to be on the Olympic team, to being the guy averaging, 22 points per game in 2022-23, the year before we drafted Wemby, and then going from being the guy to not the guy to then being a guy off the bench. That's a tough transition. I got to think that's really tough when you're a younger player. You try not to let your ego get to you, but when people are telling you you're a starter, you're the guy, you're an Olympian, yeah, that can inflate the ego a little bit. And then when you're told you're not the guy, I can only imagine how that feels here. And maybe it took him a little time to embrace it, but he has embraced it. And this, again, is really a feel-good moment, no matter what happens with the playoffs, because we're all, we talked about it in the video yesterday, we're disappointed with Fox's performance so far with his contract, and players didn't step up in the last game, et cetera, et cetera. No matter what happens, this has been a fantastic year to be a Spurs fan. To go from 22 wins just a couple years ago to 62 wins this year, second best team in the Western Conference. We're bringing in awards left and right. Wemby Defensive Player of the Year, Keldon now Sixth Man of the Year. MVP is still up there for Wemby. Coach of the Year is still up there for Mitch. I believe Harrison Barnes might have a Sportsman type award. De'Aaron Fox is up for Teammate of the Year award. There's a lot of awards. When's the last time we had this many awards? We're at 2 right now. I honestly can't remember. There's one Kawhi won his second Defensive Player of the Year, which would be over a decade ago. Doing the math. Coach Pop won Coach of the Year that year as well, right? Defensive Player of the Year for Kawhi. Pop won his third Coach of the Year, I think, the year they beat the Heat in the revenge rematch. I think we got 2 awards then. I've drawn a blank if there are any other ones. You guys will let me know in the comments, absolutely. But I'm really curious on your feedback. For those of you that were very much on the trade Keldon train, are you still in that thought process, like, we should have moved on from a few years ago? Or are you happy for him now? Are you like, this is great. I'm glad that he's found his role. And he's a role player. There's no doubt about it. I was hoping he wasn't a few years ago. I actually took the stance he's not a role player. He is. And that's okay, because he has embraced that role, and he's now succeeded in that role and is being recognized by his peers as Sixth Man of the Year. I'm so happy for him. Drop a comment down below also if you've been a Keldon supporter throughout his career. I've been a Johnson fan since he was drafted, and hit the thumbs up. And also, I'll be live tomorrow night for the Spurs versus Blazers Game 3. It's not looking like Wemby will play, but maybe he will. I think that's a late game, like 10 or 10:30 Eastern, as it is over in Portland. Late games. Anyways, that's all I got. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you very much, and as always, go Spurs, go!